Hey everybody, welcome to a special edition of the Charlotte Soccer Show. John Hayes, Danny Brams. We're here at Charlotte FC and Crown Legacy headquarters. It's the new training facility. We were invited here to check out the property and have a conversation with the president of Crown Legacy, Darrius Barnes. Stick around. You're going to hear a great interview. We get into the success of the club in its first season, making the playoffs. I ask about a big topic on the show that we've discussed a lot, which is first-team players getting minutes on a Saturday night and playing for Crown Legacy on a Sunday. What's the thinking behind that? Darrius fills us in. And, of course, we're going to tell great stories, specifically one about Patrick Agyemang, Jose Tavares, the Crown Legacy manager, his impact on bringing Big Pat to the QC. Hope you enjoy the interview. And remember, MLS Match Week is finally back. We're going to be here throughout the week with another episode previewing Saturday night's match against LAFC. Enjoy the episode.
Darrius Barnes, Crown Legacy president. Has a nice ring to it. It's always nice to be the president of anything, right? Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
And welcome to the Charlotte Soccer Show. Thanks for being the first CLTFC affiliated member. We've had a lot of people from Independence come through. Finally, glad to visit the Crown side of things. And you are the president of MLS Next Pro's Crown Legacy. But you grew up here in North Carolina, and you call yourself a country boy. So how does a country boy now have the corner office?
Well, let me just level set. First off, appreciate you guys having me, and I don't feel very presidential, so we'll keep that. Yeah. We'll keep this super casual. I am a country boy. I grew up in Raleigh. For me, this is coming back and being able to work with Charlotte FC is it's a dream for me. Growing up, never thought there'd be an MLS professional team in the Carolinas, but just seeing the growth of the game, the growth of the league, the growth of the market in this region, fast forward and here we are. So for me, this is a passion project for me, just to be able to be involved with Charlotte FC and Crown Legacy FC, and just have a strong passion for the game. Strong passion for the game. Growing up playing. Never thought I would reach the heights that I did, kind of coming from where I came from. So just really grateful for every moment I get to be able to impact the game and grow the game in the great state or the great region of the Carolinas.
Yeah, no doubt.
Totally, Dan. I mean, we are on the show. We talk about Charlotte being a soccer city, but lately I've been trying to change that to it's a soccer state. Then I was like, well, wait, South Carolina, it's a soccer region. I mean, this region is blowing up. Yep. The amount of soccer that's being played across the region, the availability out there, new teams launching all over the place. It's been awesome. And Danny, I do need a scene set though, right? Because we introduced Darrius as the president. We're talking about being in his corner office. We're literally in his office right now doing this interview. Okay, so we're at the news.
I can get comfortable.
Dan, I can
kick your feet up, please. Kick your feet up.
And we're in the new Charlotte FC headquarters as well, which is cool. Fresh opened
the facility
this week. The facility here, the practice fields. This place is amazing. We got a quick little tour before we got to chat with you in this office, and just want to what is the vibe like, right? Because this is a project that's been going on for a couple of years now, and the idea that we're going to have a headquarters, we're going to open, we're going to get everybody together in the same space. That's finally happened.
Yeah.
What's it feel like?
Yeah, I mean it's game changing, to be honest. To be able to open Atrium Health Performance Park, be able to have our entire club under one roof is massive. It's something that's been a long time coming. I don't think it's any secret. We felt like this is probably something that should have been in place, probably earlier on. But some things you want to get things right. You don't want to rush things, and
totally.
Obviously there's been changes and pivots here and there, but I think we're right where we need to be and where we want to be. Just to be able to kind of find something that our academy, Crown Legacy FC, our first team, our business staff can call home. And the first couple weeks have been fantastic. It feels like home. Everyone's kind of settled in and feels comfortable. There's a great vibe. And I think people really appreciate it. You want to come to a place of work where you have all the resources to get your job done. And I think our employees and I think the team they feel like they have that. And this is going to be a new beginning. Hopefully this is kind of a launching pad to greater things to come for Charlotte FC, and to get this one across the finish line, it's just fantastic. So it's going to be hopefully big things in the future for the club in Atrium Health Performance Park.
Well, from my point of view, what I'll say is like when the first team launches, Charlotte FC launches, and Crown Legacy hasn't played a game yet. Crown Legacy comes a year later. That launch happens. The connective tissue, it just doesn't feel like everybody's on the same page because you're on different timelines. For sure. Then all of a sudden this place opens and you've got the academy here, everybody's here, and then finally, for me as a supporter, as someone who follows the club as well, it feels like this is an organization now, right? It feels like everybody's on the same page.
Right.
And it allows me, I think personally, it was hard for me to buy into Crown Legacy to start just because, I wasn't familiar with MLS Next Pro. I didn't know how the development was going to work with players on that squad, and then to see some of these players be called up to the first team, to have success, to get minutes here with Crown Legacy when they weren't maybe getting the minutes that they wanted at the first team. I feel like this organization is finally pulling all in the same direction at the same time, not just internally, even if it's felt that way, but I think you're finally seeing that externally as well, which is really cool for supporters of the club.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's all about collaboration, right? Collaboration and alignment. I think in the kind of in its infancy stages, and we're still a baby club, still growing. But earlier on, there were some tough times. Obviously, launching a club during COVID and not being able to have certain infrastructures in place to collaborate. But now that we have this fantastic facility, I can go right down the hall and talk to Joe. I can go right down the hall and talk to Zoran. I can go right down the hall and talk to Jose or Chris Latanzi. Like everyone's in one building, so it just makes that collaboration a bit easier. As previously, you had Crown Legacy, at Sportsplex and at the stadium a bit, and first team at the stadium a bit, and training here at McAlpine. So it was a little herky jerky for a little bit, but now there's no excuses. We're all here. We're all able to collaborate and kind of sing from the same song sheet, and we deal with the highs and the lows all together. There's no running from it. There's no hiding from it. And I think that's when some of the best things are produced, is when you're forced to collaborate. You're forced to be in the same room with one another. And thinking of ideas and solutions and bringing things to the table. So we're excited. We're excited about the trajectory of where this club is going and the potential that this club has to be one of the best clubs in MLS and MLS Next Pro.
You mentioned singing from the same song sheet. For what it's worth, Danny's got a great voice.
Okay,
he sings on the show.
I sing on the show a lot.
He does.
I've been known to. It needs to come in the flow. I can't do things on demand.
But I like improv.
But you mentioned walking down the hall of the offices. I'm looking down that hallway right now as we talk, and I see those offices. It's really cool, as opposed to all the offices being over town. I got a lot of questions about Crown Legacy. We'll get to those momentarily. First, I want to get to know you a little bit more in terms of some of the things I researched on you and get some of your reaction, maybe loosen you up a little bit. 8-year MLS career. What was it like going from being a self-described country boy out of the Raleigh area to Boston, New England? What's that adjustment?
Wow. Bitterly cold is it was a culture shock. It was one of those things when I growing up, I'd spent my entire life in the Carolinas, and then went to school at Duke. I was there till I was 21, 22, and I'd always told myself, all right, it's time to get away. I want to get away, and the game afforded me so many opportunities to travel abroad and play all over the country, which is fantastic. But I never really spent time away from the Carolinas for a permanent period of time. And so getting drafted to New England afforded me that opportunity. And it's one of those things be careful what you ask for. I wanted to get away, and now I was completely away. But it was one of the most amazing experiences. I fell in love with Boston, fell in love with New England area, and it was good for me from a growth standpoint.
Yeah, I moved from Austin, Texas to Bristol, Connecticut to work for ESPN, and it was a really rough transition. It took me a long time to realize you got to bloom where you're planted. You just got to make the most of it and fall in love. Now I looked this up. You achieved a lot of things in the sport. You played MLS Cup final. You had a lot of great success with New England. Bronze 64 FIFA card with the 62 pace. Did they do you dirty?
I think so. I think so. I don't know. The 62 is debatable, but the pace. That's one of the things that I could pride myself on was my pace.
Yeah, so. They never give any love to the MLS and FIFA, unfortunately. And then the other thing I just wanted to know is you recently started an MBA program at UNC. But you went to Duke undergrad. What's that? Cognitive dissonance there with the Tar Heel and
I've been getting a lot of slack on that one. But for me, it's important to continue to sharpen the tools in the toolkit and continue to learn and level up. And I think this is a fantastic opportunity for myself to help continue to impact our organization and for me to personally develop as well. It's something I wanted to do when I retired and kind of put it on the back burner a bit, and then. Fast forward a couple of years, had an opportunity to get it, and I can put bygones aside, let bygones be bygones. But UNC is a great school. I won't speak on athletics, but from an academic standpoint, UNC is a great school. So
you got a great business school.
Exactly.
Right?
So I'll give kudos where kudos are due.
No doubt. Well, congratulations on continuing to better yourself. You came up through the MLS business office after your playing career and rose through to Charlotte FC and now Crown Legacy. You got to feel good about the playoffs, right? You clinched the playoffs.
Let's go.
6 games left in the season, regular season. I was there on the clincher. It was hot. It was brutally hot. It was a day where people should not have been playing soccer. I saw youth games going on at the other fields and sportsbooks. I was like, these parents need to take their kids home. This is crazy. But it was real hot. But it was the extra heat was coming from the pitch because the boys played good. How good does it feel to get that playoff clinching win against Huntsville, who, despite all the dominance this year, Huntsville's been a little of a bugaboo for Crown Legacy this year?
Yeah. I mean, we saved the drama for late, right? To the very end with Yuri Tavares' goal. But
man, everybody in the stands was like, "Please, goal! We cannot take penalties. We cannot stand here for a penalty shootout. It's too hot."
I know.
So Yuri made a lot of. If he didn't have fans already, he made some brand new super fans.
Exactly. No, it was fantastic to be able to clinch playoffs in that fashion in our inaugural season. That's something we want to create a winning club. We want to create a winning culture, and that's something that Jose preaches day in and day out with the boys. Is from day one he came in and wanted to lay a winning foundation, and everyone talks about can you win and develop players at the same time, and I'm a huge believer that you can do that. I think winning is part of the development. You have to learn how to win. Winning isn't something that just comes. You have to really put in the effort and put in the work to learn what it's like to be a consistent winner. And he's done that from day one, and I think we're starting to see some of the fruits of that and laying that foundation and that groundwork.
I think that's definitely true. That you have to winning becomes a habit. I think anyone in sports will tell you that.
Yeah, and the culture thing, though, seriously, we've talked about that a lot. And the idea is you only launch once, right? You only get one chance to make that first impression. Right. And when you're a new organization, whether you're a sporting organization, whether you're a business, whether you're a restaurant, it's like you're going to have that moment where people are going to consume your product for the first time, and they're going to say, this is something that I can enjoy, this is something I want to come back to. So it just feels like, and have you felt this personally, like the idea that there's stress involved with hey, we're new. This is our first season. We want to be successful. Therefore, we're looking at this in a way this season that maybe 10, 12, 20 years down the line, you look back to 2022, 2023, and you say that's where the foundation was built.
That's it. You need a sturdy foundation with anything you build. Yeah. And we wanted to start off as strong as we possibly could. We knew it was going to be obviously an uphill challenge with a new league and people are not really understanding you mentioned yourself, you didn't really know too much about MLS Next Pro and really where Crown Legacy FC fit into the player pathway for Charlotte FC. And totally. So I think a big piece of that for us was creating a new identity, creating our own brand. We wanted to do things differently and go off the beaten path a little bit. And I keep saying this, not be a Charlotte FC2 like some of the other clubs. And for them that may work, just to have that brand recognition. But for me, it was important, and for this club, it was important to have Crown Legacy FC have its own identity and have its own brand that laddered up, where it was easily recognizable and you could easily make that association with Charlotte FC. But when you're playing for a badge and you're playing for something, and that gives you that ambition to reach new heights as well. You want to wear that first team crest one day. And so a big piece of the Crown Legacy FC's logo is the different crown, right, and the building blocks it takes to get that forms to get to the first team. And so I think that was the kind of the foundational piece for us, is having a unique identity for the club to for Crown Legacy FC to call its own. And from then, it was just about building. It was about building the legacy, if you will, going out and finding, a Jose Tavares and bringing him in and making sure, we had a coach that could develop the players, in the way that we wanted them to progress to the first team. And I don't think we could have, hired a better coach for our inaugural season to coach these boys. He's just been fantastic in the way he manages, the way he develops the players and knows how to push the right buttons and pull the right strings at the right time. He's just been fantastic, and we're really bullish about the potential of what we can achieve, for years to come with him at the helm.
So that started from the very beginning. 7-1 start to the franchise. I believe, if I looked it up right, didn't lose a game to anyone other than Huntsville FC for the first 2.5 months of the franchise existence, so that's got to feel pretty good. And then finally have gotten over the hump to beat Huntsville to clinch the playoffs. So that's pretty cool. I was there at the inaugural match. I think it's pretty cool. You got a hanging here in the office, a wraparound. Beautiful work by the good folks at Shutterfly to create this artwork of the first initial 11 that ever played for Crown Legacy. Yeah. And I look up there, and I was at this match, and I saw, and you see Ben Bender, Chris Haggard, in the lineup, and you're thinking, man, they and Sobo, and they brought this first team guys down to, so the kids wouldn't look bad in the inaugural. But no, it was Brandon Cambridge scoring the first ever goal for the club. It was Nick Scardina with the last minute equalizer to send the thing into a penalty shootout. So
it was Andrew Privet holding it down on the back line.
Holding it down. Yeah, exactly. Privet's up there.
That's my guy. That's my guy, by the way.
John's a Penn Stater, so he loves Privet. Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
So I imagine Jack Neely's debut with the first team is sometime coming in the next 6 to 12 months, if not sooner. So it's really cool that we now have this pathway, because we didn't have that in the first year of the club. In the first year of the club, if you're a huge Charlotte FC fan, you're like, man, where's our lifeblood coming from? Where's the guys coming up? And we didn't have that. So now we do. And I know, so John and I on the show, we've dealt throughout the seasons, we talked, he mentioned it, he's a little bit a harder sell to get into the Next Pro thing because he's so focused. But when you see this sort of connection start to develop, and I saw, Patrick didn't score in that game, but I saw glimpses. And I remember walking away from that inaugural game, and I thought, hey, great, they got the late equalizer. Scardina looked pretty good on the wing. It was fun to see Bender and the boys play. I was like, but this Agyemang kid, man, he showed some flashes. He didn't score. He blew a big chance, I think, in fact, that was created by Berchinos, if I remember correctly. But now we see Agyemang, who's just now everybody wants Agyemang starting for the first team a few months later, So it's I've been feeling blessed to witness that progression just as an outside fan. What is it like on the inside seeing that journey happen in real time, and then what do we got to do to get Johnny out to a Crown Legacy match?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think something that we try to preach and promote from the beginning with Crown Legacy FC is this is going to be an opportunity to see first team players and stars before they become stars, right? And some players, being able to track a player's development, I don't think there's anything like it. Being able to see them develop their touch, develop their weak foot, see a player like Patrick Agyemang, who was creating chances and getting chances in front of goal. I don't think he scored his first 4 Crown Legacy FC matches, and then went on a tear and scored 3 braces in 3 matches, right? And so when you see that development, you feel attached to that. You feel a sense of attachment to that player. And Crown Legacy FC matches are super accessible. You're able to be right there up close and see these players as they mature. And I think, being able to see that with a player like Patrick, with a player like Brandon, with a player like Andrew Privet, who was instrumental in our first team's League Cup run, I think that's special. That's what MLS Next Pro is all about. That's what Crown Legacy FC is all about. And we're going to continue to provide those opportunities for players. If you're producing, we have eyes on these players, all the time, on training sessions. There's all different tech that we have that tracks movements and tracks trainings, and coaches are watching all the time. These players know that, and so they're going to get their opportunity if they come and they take advantage and they produce. And so I think that's been the unique thing this year, just about seeing some of these players develop and get their opportunity with the first team and really take that opportunity. I mean, that's all you can do is when you're given an opportunity, take it by the horns. And some of these players have been able to really do that. And there's no doubt that there's going to be more in line and more to come.
Yeah, we've only got a couple minutes left. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much for having us today. It's been great learning about Crown Legacy. I'm definitely going to go to a match for what it's worth. You don't have to convince me at all. You don't. I think like this. You pointed to it, just kind of seeing how these players have been able to develop, been able to enrich their careers. And I agree with you 100%. Like you could see a star footballer and be wowed by that, but then you can see a young player develop over time, and there's just kind of a different feeling in regards to that, especially when they're one of our own, right? A player who started their career here and goes on.
There he goes.
Yeah.
There goes the right?
Exactly. Yeah. So the listeners of our show, we call them the TIFOs, the tremendous friends of the show, and I think they would give me some serious shtick if I didn't ask this question, which was like, this is the first time since I've covered soccer that I've seen a player play for a first team on a Saturday night and then play for the MLS Next Pro squad the next afternoon. At first, I was like, what the heck's going on here? Like, is that, and could you take me through that thought process and how those discussions work and what it's like for the players? Are they asking to get those minutes on that next day after 10 minutes for the first team?
I think it just kind of goes back to our club approach, right? And, we work with our performance and our medical team, so obviously we're never going to put players at risk in terms of being injured. But there's certain thresholds, right? And we know players get better by playing in matches.
Totally.
Players get that's the juice of it. That's the recipe, and
fitness too.
Exactly. And so there's times where if a player doesn't reach a certain minute threshold, and we need them to get reps. This is an opportunity. This is the benefit of having MLS Next Pro and Crown Legacy FC, and obviously sometimes there's scheduling concerns and scheduling constraints that may restrict that a little bit, but if there's opportunities to get specific players more minutes, because like I said, they need reps, and you've seen that in a player like Brandon Cambridge and Patrick Agyemang, and a player like Chris Hagart, right, who maybe not getting the minutes that they want or need on the first team, but being able to get those minutes for Crown Legacy FC to stay sharp, and so they're prepared for their next opportunity. Whereas maybe if they didn't get those minutes at those chances, they wouldn't have been as sharp and maybe not have taken those chances. So it's all an approach and all part of the alignment, and we communicate up and down the line between myself and Joe and Bobby and Zoran and Christian and Jose, all across the board. To make sure that we want to make sure we're putting the players in good positions to succeed. We're never going to put a player in a position where they're going to fail purposefully, but we want to make sure we're putting them in positions and as part of their growth path and their growth trajectory.
I think it's progressive man management. That's why I raise my hand and calling it out. It's like, I've never seen this before, and sometimes I think things that you've never seen before or they're not used to, you are at first fearful of or scared of, or you don't understand, and that's why having this conversation was so important for me, just to try to understand that. And I think ultimately the proof is in the pudding here. It's worked, right? Mm-hmm. It might have been different to start, but there's no doubt it's worked. I've got one more question, and I want to
get some shout outs after.
Yeah, okay, good. One more question. It's about Patrick Agyemang. I just want to talk about Jose's decision to bring him on board. I heard that he had a massive voice in seeing this player, scouting this player, and saying that he wanted to make this player fly. Yes, yeah. Right? So that communication with the manager obviously is so important. But can you just give us, tell us truthfully how it went down?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it shows Jose's experience, right? Jose got to Charlotte probably a little over a year ago. I think he came around July, August of 2022, maybe a little before that, 2022. But when he got here, he was fully immersed in our culture. We had a pilot program that we operated last year, where we had some of our academy boys that were aging out, play a friendly season. So we got a chance to get immersed in the club culture, really learn about some of our academy processes and players. But the big thing about it, come last winter, he went to his first college combine. And so he really got immersed in learning what the college soccer culture is like.
The benefits of having a Next Pro coach, even if you don't have a Next Pro team. While we were waiting for the team to show up, at least we had the coach working. That's good
exactly. So he went down to the college showcase, took in the Final Four. But he got a chance to see some of these players, up close and personal, and Patrick was one that stood out to him. Just, obviously Patrick's physique and build, but obviously his explosive speed, and this was a player that Jose thought he could work with. This is a player that, Jose literally said before drafting, this is a player he can make fly. He'll give him wings and make him fly and help him fly. Not make him fly, but help him fly. And so Jose was incremental in that decision process to move up to draft Patrick. I think it was with the 12th pick of the draft. And so, that's just the feel that Jose has of the game, a feel for players and a feel to see a player profile right and say, with some time, I see something in that player that can produce and be an asset for Charlotte FC. And so by no means have you seen the finished product of Patrick Agyemang. There's tons left. There's tons of meat left on the bone. But we're excited about the prospect and his potential, what he can do from this club, and just for him, Patrick's just a fantastic human being first and foremost. This is we preach about, and I think we have amazing people in this club, and he fits that mold to a T. He's eager, he's humble, he's hungry, he puts in the work, and I don't think you reach your goals or achieve the heights you want to achieve without putting in the work, and he's on the track to do that.
We saw Jose walking around the building before we came in to do this interview, and afterwards, maybe we can go find him again, because what we want to do is we want to put Danny Brams in front of him.
Yeah.
And we want to ask, can you make this guy fly?
We can put wings on there.
Give me some wings, Jose. Give me some wings, man. Help me. You might have to make me fly. I don't know if helping's going to do enough, unfortunately, on that one, but I love it. Yeah, I in hindsight, now we can all say, how the hell was a guy like Patrick Agyemang, slumming down in the University of Rhode Island and not in the U.S. Men's Development Program? We'll never know. But he looks great, and just the physical traits and the technical ability that he's shown, just absolutely insane. I want to give shout-outs real quick as we wrap up. Thank you so much for your time, Darrius. Shout-out Isaac Walker, first silverware for the club, with the Goalie Wars. Hopefully on our way out here, you can take us to, I want to see the belt. If it's it better be prominently displayed.
It's either here or it's at his house.
It might be at his place. We'll find out. Shout-out to great decision you guys made at the Sportsplex, which was to move the fans from the east side to the west side bleachers. Way better being able to be behind the benches and see the game. It's a little shadier over there on some days. And the chirping, the whoop whoop that we do at the opposing managers, it gets in their head every time, and I love it. They always you always see the opposing managers, they get out of the box, and the Charlotte Crown Legacy fans start going whoop 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 and getting them, and they try to ignore it, and then finally they have to they make eye contact and
I love that the fans are in the shape. That's my favorite part, the supporters being behind the bench. I think that just adds a different dynamic.
100%.
More supporter feel. So we appreciate it.
Love that you're making adjustments along the way and seeing what works and what needs to be changed. That was a great mid-season change you guys made. And then when can we buy some Crown Legacy shirts? Come on. I have a great friend, Greg Franco, friend of the show. He's one of our great TIFOs, Elevation Jones, has a Kalina goalie kit, and then he custom made and put a Crown Legacy style crest on it. He has a bootlegged homemade Crown Legacy shirt. When can we buy these shirts?
Oh, well, I'll start off by saying I love the creativity. A lot of people, how creative people have gotten with Crown Legacy gear.
The goalie kit into the Crown Legacy.
Exactly. No, that's fantastic. That's something that's a big priority for us. Heading into next year to make sure we have more Crown Legacy FC merchandise available. I think that this year we ran into some challenges and. Just from a fanatic standpoint and third-party standpoint in terms of buying and what it will look like. But now that we've had a full year under our belt, we kind of know what to expect, and that the fans are clamoring for it. I have reason to go and push for it even more. Yeah. So
I think the first printing will sell out for sure.
Yeah, if somebody catches Danny around town with a Crown Legacy kit and it says Barnes 23 on the back, just know he took it off the wall here in the office.
Some broken glass in it, right?
Yeah, man, I have to tell you, thanks so much for doing this, inviting us by. It's been an awesome conversation. Getting to know you a little bit, talking about your career, life in soccer, man. That's pretty freaking cool, right? I mean. Can you pinch yourself sometimes? Thinking back to yourself as a kid playing the game, many years later, family man, and your professional life now is still in soccer. That must be rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a passion for me. I wake up every day and don't feel like I come to work, and so every day is different. And even the tough days and challenging days, we're not. It's not rocket science, right? And we're just trying to continue to grow the game and grow this club. And so Like I said, this is a passion of mine. Love this club, love the sport, love this league, and we're just all on a path and on a journey to make it better.
A path to trophies, right?
That's it.
At the end of the day, right? The organization doesn't have any trophies, and that's no knock against the organization, right? It's a young organization, but
let's go get one.
Why not?
We're
right?
trophy hunting.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
They have a cool format in Next Pro, which is the number 1 seed gets a bye, and then the number 2 and 3 get to pick their opponents, right?
Yep.
That's kind of I know we're in position for the bye and we should hold it, but it'd be kind of funny to be in one of those spots. It'd be kind of fun to be like, we want you guys. I think that's going to add a little bit of a chip on the shoulder in those Next Pro playoffs.
Yeah, well, even if hopefully that's what we're pushing for. Obviously, we've locked in playoffs, but there's still a lot left to achieve. Trying to get the number 1 spot and be able to get the first round bye, and even after that, you're still able to select your opponent.
Oh, you get to pick even the second round. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Even good. So that could be let's go.
And then
We
still
want you.
going for the number 1 overall seed as well. So if we're in position to
Playground
hope the
pickup,
MLS Next Pro Cup, that'd be fantastic for the city.
Thanks again for your time.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Cheers.